welcome to an audience with ISAA, with Princess ISAA. Enjoy! Beautiful people, welcome to another version of an audience with ISAA, and literally it is with myself, Princess ISAA. To do a short video, given I've put 5 versions of an audience with ISAA on YouTube so far, mainly to really share my experiences and mainly to share what I've learned, and also just as an update leading up to my birthday, which is 19th April. So, and one of the key reasons for doing this now is about the feedback, which has been overwhelmingly positive, I have to say, so thank you so much, guys. But it's also been full of lessons that I've taken away from trying to do what I started to do for about 2 weeks now. And obviously I believe everybody knows what the background is we're all locked away at home. We're currently in a lockdown all over the world. We've been asked to stay at home because of this virulent coronavirus, and there's a certain measure of when you have your freedom taken away from you, all of a sudden you just realize what we had and maybe didn't appreciate. But also for me, I've always tried to keep things positive as much as I can. Even in really bad situations, I try to keep going, and I guess that's where some people do say to me, and I do believe that I'm a positive person because I always look on the bright side. So the idea came to me about just, if I can't talk to my friends, if I can't see my friends, if I can't physically be with my friends and family, I can talk to them through my medium. And my medium has always been through my camera, has always been through, well, has been through social media, but mainly my camera, mainly through my photographs, which is a hobby I've had since I was 12, when my father gave me a Nikon, a good solid Nikon camera to play around with, to practice with, because he could see how much I was interested in it. So I'll bring this back. Actually, as I said, I wanted to do this interim interview with myself, just to update you guys and bring you up to speed on what's been happening for the last 2 weeks. So one of the feedback that came in, I think about 2 of the videos, is that people are actually curious to know who I am. And initially when I got that feedback, I was a bit taken aback, because I'll go just a few months back and say I did start ISAA Unedited in January 2020. It was one of the things I wanted to do. 2020 vision of mine, which kickstarted in January, and that's been running quite well. So I try and do a weekly update on YouTube, a weekly upload on YouTube, which then goes out to people. Obviously, quite a few of my friends subscribed, and a few people, I think over 700 or 800 views, individual views, which means potentially 800 subscribers have watched me at one point or the other. So I actually believed when I kickstarted an audience with ISAA that people knew me. What I forgot was that in kicking off an audience with ISAA, I was no longer talking about my experiences. I'm inviting people along to come and share their experiences with us, to keep us, mainly with a view to keeping us entertained, and to show there's a lighter side to life in this period of lockdown. So anyway, one of the feedbacks was, who is this ISAA? So therefore, this ISAA is actually myself, and I will introduce myself as Irene Stella Aderonke Adetokunbo. And that's actually where I've coined the ISAA, ISAA from. Although it could also stand for Irene Stella Atkin, which is my full professional name, which is my daily name, if you like, that I go by. A quick introduction into my background. I was born on the 19th of April 1972. Therefore, in a few days' time, I will be 48, which is fantastic. I take every opportunity to celebrate my birthday. So I'm looking forward to that. Yes, lockdown it's still going to be a celebration. Small fishing village called Grimsby in Humberside, Lincolnshire, to Oba Justin Oladiran Agunbiade, Olosi of Osi Ekiti III, and Mrs. Eunice Abimbola Omoniyi. At that time, both of them were students. My dad is an accomplished marine biologist by profession, whilst my mum is an entrepreneur, a lady in the know about businesses. I spent the early part of my childhood in England for my parents to complete their education, and then we went back to Nigeria. I went through secondary school both in Nigeria and in the UK. I was in boarding house in the UK until the age of 12, when I went back to Nigeria to finish off my secondary school. So I went to a school called Fejikola in Akure, which is the town my mum hails from the age of 12 to the age of 16, when I then left for Obafemi Awolowo University. I studied law at Ife, and I went off to law school, and then came to England and did my master's in business information technology. Since then, I have been working as a business development and technology professional. It's a job that brings a lot of joy to me, because I actually enjoy what I do. I execute and deliver projects and programs, and from that I've built a wealth of experience. So from a professional standpoint, that's me in a nutshell, and I guess I'll fill in more details as the time goes by. That's introduction over. So I will go into why today, why now. As I said, I wanted to just share some of the really lovely feedback that we've received and share my experience as well. So, well, because of COVID, I then thought, right, I will interview my friends using the technology that I use daily at work, which is, I wasn't sure what it was going to be, but you know, I had candidates like Skype, Zoom, and even the WhatsApp calls, the WhatsApp video calls, etc. All of that came to my mind, with nowhere to go, with working from home, and effectively having some spare time on our hands. How do I keep busy? I like being busy. Luckily for me, I do have a studio. I have this photographic studio. At that time that people have to be at home, in that time that freedom is curtailed to our respective houses, I just wanted to do my bit with keeping busy. And if in any way I can encourage anyone to stay positive and not to give in to anxiety, that's what I'm trying to do. And so far, I think I'm doing a reasonable job. And thank you everyone so far that have actually either come on to be interviewed or have watched and have been encouraging with lots of positive words and lots of encouraging feedback, and so much passion as well, that, oh wow, it's a good thing you've started here, and have really encouraged me. So I just thought today would be a good day for me to share some of those feedback, and at the same time, because of the lockdown, just talk a little bit about my experiences. So I will start out with when I started out with an audience with ISAA. I have to be honest and say I didn't think it was going to be this difficult. So yes, I know I can't get people to come into my studio. It is literally a shed. It's a summer house, but it's a summer house that's effectively the equivalent of a studio flat, if you like, that I've lovingly put together over a couple of years, and is my sanctuary. I just like to come and chill in here, away from the main house. So I started that audience with an ISAA, but previously I haven't done any remote interviews with anyone at all before, but I obviously do use Skype, Zoom, and all the teleconferencing facilities at work for meetings, but I've never used it for an interview, and certainly not in a private environment that I started to use it in. So not realizing the challenge, but I'm always up for a challenge, I kickstarted this, rallied round my friends, got them in to support me, got them into a show of hands into how many people would like to interview. Some were so, all out for it, really vigorously into it. Quite a few are curious and wanted to know what's it going to be like. But a lot of my friends and family, they do trust me and to a certain extent they enjoy my free spirit. Started this, and I would say it has been challenging. I have had lots of technical difficulties in getting the interviews. The first one that was with Abiodun, and we talked about aviation industry. That was a lesson in whatever can go wrong will go wrong. The laptop camera gave way. We had to resort to a phone. So even though I had several cameras positioned in my studio, I obviously didn't work through what the angles were. And in fairness, it was so difficult to see Biodun and to record it, but we just thought we'll go ahead with it. But yes, I guess that was a big one. So the lessons learned from that was actually, do you know what? I needed a bigger screen, and I went in and immediately got a bigger screen. Basically, I got the TV in my bedroom and brought it downstairs into the shed. So on the second one with Ore, that was actually quite, that was a lot better because you could see the interviewer. But we then dealt with issues of internet connectivity. So I'm obviously recording this from my shed at the back of the house, using actually quite a powerful Wi-Fi, but obviously not as strong. We tried the 4G. 4G was even worse. So without belaboring the point, the challenge, what has actually made it a lot more enjoyable is I don't know what to expect. So we try and prepare and kickstart, but we don't know what to expect. But I'm happy that I've adjusted as each episode has come along with whatever challenge I have or I've found. With the first episode and with subsequent ones, a lot of feedback came in terms of, wow, this is really good, this is encouraging. So many people wanted to know about aviation law. So many people were interested in the concept of travel in Nigeria. A lot of people actually found Ore's interview really, really funny from a position of, oh wow, as Nigerians, we do like to travel. We like to travel in style, but we like to do it cheaply, etc. Because she delved into the challenges faced with the travel industry and the way things are. In all of this, we're keeping people interested. Now, by the time I got into the third one with Dr. Osheniyi, and he was talking about retirement, a lot of people came out to say, do you know what, this is so spot on. Because if you think about our age, our generation X, we're now between that 40 and into the 50s and maybe a little bit beyond. And that really resonated with a lot of people. And by the time I got to Dr. T, people were just so, wow, this is what being positive does to you. This is what being determined does to you. So Dr. T gave an insight into the challenges that she's had, and but how she's excelled and how she's managed to overcome and to encourage people. And a lot of people are so encouraged. And I've got another one that will be coming out today that I'm actually doing this recording. So that's with another friend talking about single parenting, the highs and lows of it, the challenges and the joy of it. So that is something to look forward to. So An Audience with ISAA has created a platforms for such varied topics, which I'm spending time learning about as well, and taking a keen interest and also learning. And with that, I've tried to incorporate all the feedback that I've been given that's been very good to help me get to a situation where I have a good quality output to upload to YouTube. So I'm just really, really delighted. I've taken a few days off to implement just a few more of the feedback I was given. I'm one of those people that takes on a challenge anyway. Sometimes without having done the full analysis, so I have to say. But a lot of times I do put a lot of thoughts and planning into what I do. But with this one, I'd forgotten that being locked down, it was going to be quite different. So apart from the photography, which I enjoy, and obviously I've got really nice, very lovely cameras, it turned out that having to manage the technology that surrounds this, the content that surrounds this, the editing that goes into it, because obviously it's not the first recording, is not what is put out there, otherwise I think that would be chaotic. So it's turned out that I've got about 5 or 6 roles on this. I'm the host, I'm the interviewer, I'm the producer, I'm the wardrobe stylist, I'm the editor, I'm the bit of a researcher, I'm the lights person, I'm the cameraman or camera woman, and actually I'm also the brand and marketing manager, and I think I gave myself creative director at some point as well, for coming up with the content and helping people to prepare, and also the project manager. So I think I've counted about 5 roles, I've counted about 8 roles now. So it's been really interesting. So initially when I came up with the concept, because it was my birthday month, and I know I'm not going to get to have a birthday, I always like to have a party every year. Being April, my birthday month, that I could actually do 1 interview a day, and that would make up for not being able to have a small party, which was what I was planning for the 19th of April. So I kick-started it on that basis, but I haven't done 5 now. I've worked out that it just takes a little bit more than 30 minutes to put a video together that's interesting. There's so much that goes into it. So I'm just replanning all of that. I'm going to reschedule some of the interviews that I've already lined up, that I've already scheduled, and some of it may go into May now, but this will continue as long as the lockdown continues. So that's the bit about the feedback, that's the bit about the lots that I'm learning. I'm so grateful that I actually jumped in, although at some point I thought to myself, ISAA, you've probably bitten off more than you could chew. But the encouragement from different angles, and I push myself, just carry on. Yes, you may have, but just keep going. You're going to learn from this, and that's the premise on which I do quite a lot of things. I will learn from this. People are so interested in the topics we've come up with so far. I need to put a lag between the time that I upload to give people enough time to actually view, absorb, and potentially comment or come back with feedback. So that's the plan going forward. And I'm coming back to why today, and I'll tell you what's happened. I'm not sure if anyone has noticed since I've been talking that I've actually shaven off my head, and this is so funny because this is week 4 of stay at home, work from home, lockdown. From me, I guess the background, just to come back, is I've worn a low cut now since 2014. My hairstyle, the seasonal hairstyle of ISAA. So generally between October and March of a year, I will wear wigs because that keeps my head warm, and I just like the different styles. So I've never been someone that sticks to one style. I like different things. It gives me the variety. And generally when spring comes along, from spring right into when we move to autumn, I leave my low cuts. I go with my low cuts, and I enjoy my low cuts. I really, the day I finally went low cuts was the day I achieved freedom, to be honest. And I think I would have worn this hairstyle, or my low cuts, because it's slightly different now, my low cut all year round, if not that in the first year that I had a low cut and it was winter, I didn't really understand what a head cold was. I went for a walk for an hour and got back and was then laid up in bed for 6 days from a really bad cold and flu that nearly turned into pneumonia. So since then, I then went for the option of wigs, but as usual, ISAA styles it out. So what's happened is, this is week 4 of lockdown. I usually get a haircut every 2 weeks. I don't like it being overgrown. When it's overgrown, it gives me a headache. So the 2 weeks have gone by, that's okay. Last week I was really managing it, but I started to feel uncomfortable. It might be psychological, but for me, what I had on was just too much. I couldn't go out. Luckily, I've got my clippers and everything. And I sort of toyed with the idea that I can cut my hair myself. Now, Emeka, this is a shout out to you. I've got this wonderful barber. His name is Emeka. He's based at Burnt Oak in North London. He's the best barber ever. You know, I get there, I sit in his chair, it gives me a beautiful cut, and I actually feel like $1 million. I get up and it goes to me, "Your Excellency, you're ready." And I pay my £10, but when I get up from there, it feels like I've just had a beauty treatment. So Emeka, this is a shout out to you as well. I'm really missing you, but this is what COVID has done to us. So, but thank you for all the time you've given me a beautiful haircut. I haven't had to do it myself. I then realized that it's not easy. So to try this out, last week I gave myself a little trim. So I just shaped my edges, and to be fair, I made a bit of a mistake with it, but I was able to rock it for the week. By this week, I was just, do you know what? This is too much. I needed a haircut. So in my way of thinking, I thought, well, it shouldn't be too bad just to go just a notch down. I put the razor in, and it basically, you know, it went nice and clean. So I had no choice but to take everything off. So I actually did that this morning, and in taking it off, I then realized, do you know what? COVID is actually setting me free. I've never gone to the point where I've shaved off all my head and it's really shiny. You can actually really see your face in it. But when I finished it this morning, I thought, you know, that's not too bad. Yes, you could say you're bald. You could say it's all clean shaven, but I felt good doing it. I felt much lighter. I felt like a weight had come off my shoulders. And it brings me to closing this video. What I have derived from being in the 4 walls of my house is how resourceful I have become. And I know that's the story I've heard from so many of my other friends and colleagues, is that if you see the positive side of things, you just become resourceful. If you see the positive side of things, you just do what you need to do. So just to really encourage people out there, I needed a haircut. I had my clippers out, and I gave myself a good shave. And right now, I'm feeling quite cool with myself, and I'm quite happy with it. It should grow back in about 2 weeks into the normal length that I keep, in which case it means I'm going to have 4 weeks of this, and I'm hoping by the time we've done at least 4 weeks, I'm really hoping that coronavirus, COVID, would be close to being gone in the world, so we can all return to our normal lives. COVID is what COVID is made us all stay at home. It's regimented our lives, but at the same time, it can't take away our freedom. I would say the premise for me with this video is, yes, COVID is such a dastardly thing. COVID was completely unexpected. COVID is a plague in the likes of plagues that we've been told we experience maybe every couple of decades, potentially once in a century, but it's here. For me, I've worked my mental state into positives, and for me, CV19 just means I've discovered a bit more about myself. Therefore, in finishing off this video, 19 has actually freed me from quite a few inhibitions. The positive side of it, which is what I choose to take, is that in spite of the lockdown, I've managed to remain free. I've managed to do quite a lot of things. I've managed to keep in touch with my friends. I've actually even managed to, to get an idea off the ground, and I hope, guys, that you take some of this. On. I've kept anxiety at bay by not over listening to bad news, not spending too much, not being obsessive about the news on COVID. I've obviously kept up to date because it's good to know what's going on, but I've not sat in front of the TV just watching the news. I've carried on with my day as much as possible. I've carried on with my life. I've carried on encouraging my family, my friends. So really, it's the way I see coronavirus putting us in the house for a few weeks and maybe a few months, we don't know yet, is that my perspective is positive. It's my gain. It's my freedom. So I'm going to end it on that, and hope this video encourages one or two people. Bye for now. Enjoy your day.
Stumbling out of bed, and I still got you in my head. From all those pretty words you said, it's like I'm wasted. Every time I see your face, I'm losing track of time and space. I don't know where I am, it's like I'm wasted, and I won't waste it. And I promise that I will stand by you forever. I can't get you out of my mind. I will follow you wherever, and I won't waste this. I'll follow you, yeah. I'll follow you, yeah. Could you come a little closer now? 'Cause I don't wanna slow this down. My heart is screaming out your name. I'm wasted on you. Here we are, right underneath the stars. So let's get a little reckless. You make me breathless, and I won't waste this. And I promise that